So first off, who here is from Canada? Look at all of you. I mean, I can't really see you, but I see some arms back there, and then I know the Kickpoint crew is here, so thank you so much for coming. One of the things that's exciting about Canada is that we kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to a lot of local stuff. So when you look at the citation chart that David showed, which is very large and very complicated, and you look at it for Canada, it's like this tiny little thing, and in America, it's all the citations. And we don't have the local carousel. I don't know if we'll ever get it, which, according to Annie, is probably a good thing. So I'm not really too broken up about it now. But one of the things that I do a lot of in my business, and I've been doing this for 12 years now, is working with really tiny, tiny little businesses. And who here works with small businesses? Yeah? Do you love it? Isn't it great? They have smallest budgets in the world. They expect everything. Like, somebody just tweeted we should start a drinking game every time REI is mentioned, at which point we would all die. But what I think would happen is these small businesses think that they should get the same stuff as REI. And you explain to them, you know, they have a team, right? There's a whole team of people who do nothing but think about the stuff for them all day, and you expect me and your $1,000 a month to make the same thing happen. It's impossible. But I love working with small businesses because apparently I like giant challenges, but also because it's incredibly satisfying to work with a small business and see the things you do for them have a massive impact on their bottom line. I have a client who's been with me for 10 years now, and they've grown from this tiny little accounting firm to a much larger accounting firm. They have Deloitte down the street from them, and they are kicking Deloitte's ass on local searches for accountants in their service area because of these tactics that we've been using for years. So I'm going to share a little bit of this with you today. So we'll start off with the typical fight that happens in local. Here's my tiny little client, and then there's the great big brand with their fancy advertising budget, and they bought a radio ad, and they bought a TV ad, and the client's like, why can't I have TV? And it's because you won't even let me do video. You say, oh, I can't do video, it's too expensive. Just go out there with an iPhone and take a video. But no, they can't do that. So instead, we focus on things that take advantage of the fact that they are that small business, that they have that personality. And I find, too, that a lot of small brands are really terrified of looking so small. How many times do you go to a website, you go to the About page, and they don't show you all the people who work there because maybe there's only 5 of them and they don't want the cat to be let out of the bag. Let's pretend we're a multinational. Like at Kickpoint, we're pretty honest. There's 4 of us and we work in a basement. We're a small company. Sometimes we get to go outside, it's very exciting. But a lot of the time, with these small businesses, they don't want you to know that. They want to pretend that they're the great big business, but that is their competitive advantage, especially in the local space, because they can show their heart much more easily than a giant brand can. And when we have these conversations with these small local businesses, because citations, they almost feel like directory building circa 2005 in a lot of cases. Let's get some citations, and they'll fix everything. But the problem is that you end up with a crappy report that says, oh, we got you 20 links last month. And the client's like, okay, that sounds great. I have no idea what that means. And so the client ends up feeling like you're one of those crappy spammers who says, oh, I got you 20 links. You have no context for it. You have no sense of what those 20 links mean. And it makes the whole industry look bad, especially from a local SEO perspective. There's a lot of really bad local SEOs out there. I assume none of them are here today. And if you are here, great, please stop reporting on these things. But instead, what small businesses care about is making money, is about being able to pay the bills, is being able to pay the rent and pay their employees and grow their business. And as a small business owner, and as somebody who works with small businesses, they are always terrified of not making that money. They are always looking for more business, always, always, always. So telling them about 20 links is not going to solve the problem. Telling them about the phone calls that they got, about the people walking in the door, about the people who emailed them, that is going to make them happy. So often we tell clients, like, just tell us how many people walked into your door. That's actually a reporting metric on many of our reports, relating the number of visits to a website to the number of people who visit the shop. And then we take that and we say, how many people walked into the shop versus how many people bought a product? What's your conversion rate, your in-store conversion rate? And then how can you relate that back to the website? Are we driving more targeted traffic? Are we driving less targeted traffic? How are we doing? Because this is the kind of metric that appeals to a company because it's their bottom line. So this is a vague approximation of what a search engine result page looks like if you Googled burgers in Seattle, or burgers in Edmonton, or burgers anywhere, right? I mean, we don't have the carousel, but this is the idea. You're gonna get a whole bunch of crap, and you have no idea if one hamburger is better than the other. They all look pretty good. And you got this giant one in the middle. That's not bad, right? But it could be a Big Mac. Maybe you don't want that. You know, you don't know which one of them is a vegan burger. You don't know which one of them is something delicious, a chicken burger or something else. They all just look kind of the same. And then there's your client, or there's you. How are you supposed to stand out in this kind of search engine result? And so when we have conversations with our clients where the end point is a SERP, we're doing our clients a disservice. Ending the conversation with a SERP doesn't take a small brand to a giant brand. Ending the conversation with a SERP does not give the business the kind of heart, the way to stand out that you really need to have in order to stand out in local search. The question is no longer, how do I come up? But instead, it's how do I stand out? How do I make myself more awesome than the competition? And once upon a time, way back when, remember when you used to have cable? You used to watch TV ads, right? There's a whole industry built up around. There's a TV show about this. And if you wanted to buy something, you might see a few ads about it. And you think, yeah, I do want that car, or I do want that hamburger. And it worked really, really well for a very, very long time. You put the idea in the head before they decided they needed to buy the car. They already liked you. The problem is that now, this is how advertising agencies treat digital. This is an approximation of some poor digital strategist at a traditional advertising firm. You know, it's some guy in the corner, and every once in a while they yank him out and they say, hey, should we put a QR code on this? And they say, thank you for talking to me. And they say, go back there and do some keywords, you know? And if you have, by the way, if you have an advertising club in your city, wherever you're from, is anyone here a member of an advertising club of the city where they are? A few of you? You should all go to the advertising club in your city and join and listen to them, because they say really interesting things about things that make people passionate about businesses. But they do not yet understand how to translate that to the internet. Some agencies get it right. Some agencies do it very, very well, but it is not all of them, and it is certainly not enough that we need to be nervous yet. But they're gonna get there. Within 10 years, I think, I was having a conversation with a colleague. I share office space with an advertising agency, and we talk about this stuff all the time. And within 10 years, we think, every single advertising agency is not gonna have the sad little guy in the corner. They're gonna have a real department that does this right and does this well. So you gotta get there first, because they're gonna eat your lunch. They've been pitching for years. They know how this stuff works. They are really good at it. And we are just kind of catching up in our industry. One of the things that they learned is that great advertising pisses people off. Great advertising does not make everyone feel happy about a product. Great advertising angers people, right? If you and I see the same ad, I might look at it and say, that's amazing. And you might say, I hate the product, they are bad, and they should feel bad. Right? Think about JCPenney and the 1 Million Moms campaign, right? Heartwarming ad, Ellen DeGeneres. I see that, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And somebody else sees that, and I'm gonna boycott that store, and I hate them, right? That means that it's great advertising. It didn't appeal to everybody. It made you feel something inside you. And if you saw that ad and you liked it, you might not have cared about JCPenney before. You might have thought it was kind of a cruddy store, but then you got excited about it because they did something that made you feel. And one of the ways that you can figure out how you can make people feel is by listening to conversations. And this isn't just social media. Actually, walk out of your office and go to a coffee shop and start eavesdropping. And I do this all the time. My wife says it makes me a psychopath, but I think it makes me a good marketer. And who else talked about psychopath? You did. Yeah. There's a lot of psychopaths in advertising. But I like overhearing conversations because it gives me a perspective outside of my own experience into what makes people tick. And an online version of this is, let's say, for example, you go to the radio station's fan page on Facebook, a radio station you will never listen to in your life. because maybe you hate the music, or you hate the sexist DJs, or there's something else you don't like about it, and then you look at the people who are commenting on that radio station page, and then go check out their Facebook profile, and then look at the kinds of things that they're sharing, because you know that that stuff's public. They don't understand the privacy features on Facebook. They're just leaving it all hanging out for us to see. So go check it out. Look at the words that they're using. Think about the conversations that they're having. Look at the things that get them passionate, and then figure out how you can use that to your customer's advantage. Whoops, wrong button. And when you have this voice, when you start to understand this conversation, you give your little tiny brand this massive voice that otherwise you cannot have, and that a big brand may be too scared to speak out about. They're afraid of offending people. But as a small business, you're not going to help all those people anyway, so screw it. Offend the ones you're never going to have, and then make the ones who you are going to have feel like you're the best business in the entire world. Why not? Make your brand interesting. Make it stand for something. Make people love you. And a lot of this, too, can be tactics that you do in the client. So what we try to do is hang out at the client's site for a day and just listen. Listen to the phone calls. Read the emails the client gets. You know, when there's a forum on the website where people are asking for more information, read those submissions. There's great content ideas in there. There's great outreach ideas in there. What kinds of things are they talking about? And how do they approach this conversation with your client? Find out about the people who are interested in you. So one time I was sitting in a client's lobby waiting for a meeting, and I heard them have a phone conversation with a client, and it's about tattoo removal. I'm going to talk about that, a specific example in a second. But she was saying, yes, you can get a tattoo removed while you're pregnant. And I thought, I never knew that. And we'd had this client for a while, and she had never, we'd had extensive conversation about tattoo removal. I know more about tattoo removal now than I ever thought I would know, and I don't even have a tattoo. So we said, well, we should really do something about this. We should talk to that audience about, yes, you can get a tattoo removal pregnant. So it's just a matter of listening. You never know these kinds of things that are going to happen. And you know that somebody's out there right now trying to figure out whether they can get that terrible tattoo removed from their butt before they give birth, right? The other mistake I find that local businesses do is they only talk to their fans on social. They don't push themselves outside of those boundaries. They're very focused on, let's get more fans, which we all know is a crappy metric. I think Avinash called it a shit-fucking metric yesterday, something like that. I use yelling a lot, but I have no problem swearing either, but it's a shitty fucking metric. It absolutely is. Stop thinking about the number of fans that you have and stop only talking to those fans. Step outside your comfort zone. You are preaching to the choir if you're only talking to your fans on social and no one else. So what I'm going to start with are 3 examples of actual client tactics that we have done with our clients. And on tiny, trust me, very, very small budgets. Like really small, tiny budgets. Not very much money at all. I wish there was more money, but you know, small businesses, right? It's like, why do I do this to myself? And I'm going to tell you about the things that we've done for them to make their business amazing. So first thing, referrals are awesome. Who here loves referral business? Referral business is the best, right? Somebody's referred to you, and then they just buy your stuff, and they don't even ask you all those pesky sales questions like other people do. Referrals are amazing. So why do we do a shitty job of getting referrals via the web? Why are we always focusing on making sure we're coming up for those keywords? You know, Annie just talked about how crappy non-branded reports are, and I'm a little sad because I actually love the non-branded report metric, but I've been seeing this increasingly more useless, and I am going to have to dump it, and I'm really sad about it. But the thing is that if I see an increase in branded traffic to the website, that means that referrals are working. I don't want somebody Googling, you know, SEO company in Edmonton. I want them Googling Kickpoint. I don't want them Googling, you know, how to get a good hamburger. I want them Googling my client, the burger joint. That's what I want. I want to see more branded traffic, not less. I want to see that word of mouth getting out there and changing the way that people search for my business. So how do you create this kind of perpetual motion referral machine that means that you constantly get business from not just your customers, but your customers' friends? How do you create this conversation where people are talking about you all the time and it's just getting out there? You have to create the environment for unexpected social interactions. And by unexpected, I mean like not this forced crap where they say, did you like our service? Tweet about us. People know that you are faking it. People always know when you're faking it. It's forced, it's creepy, don't do it. Don't pre-write a Facebook status for someone on how much they loved your service. You know, even when they say, did you have a good time at our shop? Review us on Yelp. You know, obviously we want to have lots of reviews, but it can't be forced. You have to help people create this framework in which they can share their social interactions and you reap the benefits. So specifically to this example, one of our clients is a very small gym, 6 trainers based in Edmonton. They're called Blitz Conditioning. They just opened another location in Calgary. And they decided that they used Instagram a lot, and their customers use Instagram a lot. You know, working out is a really visual thing. You take pictures, you know, look at my progress. I went on a run, look at these giant weights I picked up and put down a whole bunch of times. These are the kinds of things that people take pictures of. So how do they create that environment? How do they take that visual medium and encourage people to share it? Well, what they did is they created the hashtag Blitz Fit. So it's applicable for all their locations. When they move to Calgary, they'll have Blitz Fit. When they move to Vancouver, they'll have Blitz Fit. When they go to Eastern Canada, they'll have Blitz Fit. And what they said to people, and they started up with a contest to get people going, but they're still using the hashtag even though it's over. They said to people, show us your pictures of how you are being fit. Now, I took these pictures a couple weeks ago off of their site. They have a photos page. It's just an Instagram feed of the hashtag BlitzFit. And so far, no spam, knock on wood. And then what we're looking at is the actual photos in sequential order of the 2 rows that I chose, completely at random, for this client. So 2 of these photos, you'll see, are actually made by the client. That's the ones with the text on them, because the Swagger Jack presentation, this works out really well for this client. They've got it, they do it themselves, you don't have to help them with any of it. They've got their own stuff going on. But all the rest of these pictures are photos shared by clients. And you know, like this one here, this person is on a horse. You don't go on the horse at a gym, not even in Alberta. Like they are riding a horse, and they're thinking to themselves, I'm gonna tweet this, or I'm gonna Instagram the crap out of this horse ride, and I'm gonna tell Blitz about it. And then their friend sees it, and I've actually seen these interactions happen. Some random person who we have no idea says, what's this Blitz Fit thing? And because other people who are not us actually pay attention to hashtags. And they say, oh, it's this gym I'm going to. It is changing my life. It is changing my outlook on fitness and health, and you should really check it out. Chris and Brett are amazing. Just go to Blitz Conditioning. And there's a client. Client is born. And we didn't have to do a damn thing. So when Joanna earlier today talked about those one-to-one customer interactions and talked about making your audience your little marketing army, this is exactly what Blitz Conditioning has done. And I saw your slide, and I thought, oh, crap. But this is exactly what Blitz has done. They have created an army out of every single person who's ever walked into their gym and embraced their mentality of fitness being a complete part of your life. And they don't care about your size, they don't care about it, they just want you to be fit. That's all they care about. And so it's a really affirming message. It makes you want to share stuff with them. And so people love them as a result of this. Second thing, decisions are based on feelings. And a couple of people have mentioned this. You know, you got that reptile part of your brain that always makes the decisions, and then you go through the benefits and you justify it to yourself. You say, okay, you know, I saw this and I really liked it, but okay, so now, look, it's on sale. You know, maybe I should buy it. So my wife, sorry, I'm gonna tell the story. Yay, American shopping. It's the best part of coming to the States. So we were in the Coach store, and there was a bag, and you know, my wife is not necessarily a Coach bag person, but they were having a 50% off sale, and she was this close to buying it because she saw it and she thought it was nice, and then the justification started. It's 50% off. It's a really nice bag. It's, you know, like trying to come up with reasons when she saw it and she wanted it, and now we're going through the benefit stuff. So then how do you make, as a small business, someone see you and have a feeling and then work out the benefit crap later? How do you make that happen? How do you tell a story in 70 characters, which is the length of an AdWords ad? That's half a tweet. You don't get much room in an AdWords ad. I'm excluding the title because you don't get much with that. We don't even think about the title that much other than cram some keywords in there. But the main part of the ad How do you tell that story in 70 characters to make someone feel something immediately? You only have, what, half a second to make that impression? So these are actual search results for the phrase tattoo removal in Edmonton. You can see the top one and the last one are not great. Medically supervised. I should hope so, right? There's a laser going to fry my skin. I would hope that there is some sort of medical professional there to help me out, right? You know, more effective than laser, less painful, lower cost. Okay, cost, whatever. The middle ad, of course, is our client. More expensive than your tattoo, but cheaper than years of regret. This ad has a really, really high click-through rate. Like we're kicking the competition's ass, and they're spending way more than we are on the click-through rate. And we're also running another ad, When Forever Doesn't Last As Long As You Thought It Would, also does really, really well. But we said to this client, like, tell us about your tattoo removal clients. And so she told us these stories. People come in and they say, I have a job and I have this neck tattoo and it's not very classy. And can I get it removed? You know, I made a stupid decision and I got, you know, a butterfly tattooed on my butt and now I want to get it removed. Or I can't roll up my sleeves at work because they're very anti-tattoo and I have to meet with people in other countries who are against tattoos and I have to get these removed. They tell lots of different stories to us. And so we take those stories and we tell them in the context of an AdWords ad. You can compress an ad to a very small amount of real estate. It's possible. And just as an aside here, the extensions, the ad extensions we've got running here, the map and about tattoo removal, book a free consultation. We ran these ads without the ad extension. As soon as we added the ad extensions, the click-through rate for the main ad, not for the ad extensions, that went up. So if you're not running ad extensions for your locally focused ads, do it immediately. Just put all the ad extensions. On mobile, we have a call extension as well. Their Google Plus page right now is going through some sort of Google Plus local hell, so we don't have that listed right now. But when it's fixed, we're going to get that on there. Every single ad extension we add onto this ad just improves the click-through rate. So keep that in mind. The third part is become a part of your customer's life. Think about, they should become so integrated with you that they would never think about going anywhere else. Whoops. And that is, this is really touchy, by the way, and that is something that we try to aim with all of our clients, for ourselves, for our clients, with their clients. They want to, you need to have those users who are devoted to you, who love you so much. And so Blitz Conditioning again, back to them. They wrote this blog post back in January about exercising during pregnancy. Alberta is going through a baby boom right now. Children everywhere. It's like a disease. So there's a lot of baby-related stuff we're doing. And one of the things is Paul wrote this post about exercising during pregnancy, and he got a local blogger, local mom blogger. Is that not the way I'm supposed to say it anymore? I don't know, I feel like there's a new way, somebody mentioned it. Anyway, she's a mom and she blogs, and she happened to be pregnant, and she has a lot of followers on her blog. So he said, why don't you come on in and we'll use you for some photo examples? And she thought, free workout, great. So she actually became a client as a result of this. But he took her through a workout, took some photos. These are all iPhone photos, by the way. These do not have to be classy photos. This is a very cheap blog post. And so, okay, we're gonna put this on Facebook, and we'll make it a sponsored post, and we'll target expectant moms. Great. Why stop there? Why not think ahead? Why not be forward thinking in all of your marketing? Why not think to yourself, you know what, I bet you there's a very good chance 9 months from now or 5 months from now or whatever stage of pregnancy these women are at when they're looking at this blog post, they are gonna give birth. It's a pretty good assumption, right? I think I'm willing to bet on these odds. So why not slap a little remarketing code on that blog post? Just let it sit, let it sit, let it sit, let it sit. Okay, 5 months later, I'm gonna offer a class for new moms to come in and work out with their kid, right? Do arm curls with your child. You know, get that pre-baby body back. Again, it's a powerful story. It's something that resonates with people. So why not just sit on that remarketing? And the best part about this, you can do it for anything. Think about a topic, think about how people will resonate with it later. How do you get people in your store and get them to keep coming back? If you're a restaurant, Put remarketing code in your thank you page after they make a reservation that triggers a month from now to remind them to come back to your restaurant. Remarket the hell out of everything, because what this does, if you're a small business, is it allows you to spend less time marketing and more time actually showing people stuff. Less time thinking about how you're going to engage with your customers and more time actually engaging with them. And remarketing is also super cheap. And it also allows you to have this complete life cycle of the client, you know? So you got the page where they signed up for the fitness classes. Maybe a year from now, you just offer them just a regular fitness class. Or maybe there's something else you're doing for like a year after baby or something like that. And the thing is, people don't understand how remarketing works. Very few people outside our industry understand that when you see that ad in Huffington Post or some other website for that small local business, that it's targeted to you. They think you're just really awesome and you spent all this money on advertising. Oh my God, and you're such a big business and I saw your ad and I wanted to give you business. They don't get that you are the only person seeing that ad. They don't get that there's maybe 200 people in the entire world who are gonna see that ad on that page. They do not understand that, and it has the side effect of making you look like you're really big and sophisticated and awesome, which is something small businesses always love. And the best part is when the small business owner themselves sees the remarketing ad and they think that you are the best marketing agency in the entire world. That's always fun too. We're like, oh yeah, totally, we did that, yeah, no problems. So if you do these things, if you go through these steps with your clients, hopefully, and in theory, you should win the local battle. I cannot promise you an epic belt like my little friend here has, but I can promise you you will have happy clients and growing clients and a happy and thriving local business. Thank you.
So what I loved about that is you're not just talking about doing better SEO, you're talking about doing better marketing, which applies to, you could take this presentation and apply it to any size business in the world.
Yeah, and local, I mean, we work with a lot of local businesses, small businesses, but local is something scalable and huge. Yeah. So absolutely everybody can do this with local ideas. It's enabling these local tactics at a small scale where you're touching out to one specific person.
So a lot of times, I've worked with very small businesses before. They're not used to doing marketing, and some of the things you're talking about are kind of risky. Like with that's a risky ad, more expensive than. How do you deal with?
It's relatively inexpensive. Like what we tell the client is, we'll just run it, and if it doesn't work, we'll just shut it off. It's fine. Or sometimes we just run it, and then we tell them about it later. Oh, look at this, we made you all this money. Are you sure you want to shut it off? I actually had an argument with a client with this specific thing for a home building client. And the ad was kitchens for people who actually cook was the phrase. And the client saw it, and I got this email from them. They were like, why are you advertising on this? This isn't part of our brand. And I said, that ad, thank you, has a 12% click-through rate. And look at all the money you made off of this. And we had a bunch of visits to your show homes as a result of that. And they're like, oh, okay, that sounds great. Thanks, keep up the good work. So, it's, you know.
Allison, thank you so much.
Allison.
Allison, thank you so much.
Thank you.